Okay, so I can do a big hunk of clay.
Trashy mold. Trashy mold.
To make sure it sticks.
Is it recording?
Now when you have when you're throwing off the hump, you don't need to center the whole thing. But you do need a comb. And it's good to center a big piece of clay, you pull it towards yourself from the outside. Okay, so stop. First, it's good to push it in place. Now it's already wet, so it's gonna be a mess. But basically, you just need to center the top. You see how this is not centered, and it's fine. Now, you will end up with a variety of sizes, because it takes practice to make the same thing over and over again. So you just treat this little bump on top as a piece of clay. You see how I'm basically isolating just this bump. And from now on, it's the same thing. Only you don't have to center over and over again, right? And then working on small objects like this actually harder than you think, because you have to, do this. This is probably too big for your bells, but then from here do the same thing. Open clay, then compress.
Yeah, I will, definitely.
Now, you need to determine where your bottom is. Where will you carve this off the hump? Here I established the line where I will carve it off. There are actually ways to measure. You're like, okay, let me get, if you want to get scientific, which I have a feeling you might, so there's a way.
Black coffee.
Yeah,
coffee, soy.
Yeah, with soy, that's
sweetener?
it. No.
Okay. I gotta go. I'm just watching.
Okay, so you can measure, okay, this is this long, right? But to find where it ends, and then you have a ruler. Okay, it's 2 centimeters, like 2.5 centimeters. And then you measure the inside. Yeah? When you start trimming, I'll show you a different way to trim. And it's 1.5 centimeters. So it gives you an idea what's in between. So that's a good way to learn to train yourself with the thicknesses. And when you trim, I'll show you how to trim them without turning them constantly, upside down. You do the same thing. You measure the outside, measure the inside first, and then you stick it permanently on the back, and then you measure the outside, and you know exactly the dimension to which you need to trim. So you don't have to pick it up, So with little objects, by the time you put those bells and put the clay around it, it's going to take a lot of time. So if you do the measurement and then just stick it onto the back with moisture, I'll show you how to do it. Okay. And then you don't need to open too wide for the bell. So cylinder. If some weird like this happens, you can just trim it off. And open. Now, to trim it off the hump, you do need to rotate as you trim. That's the only way to trim it straight. So I can see that there's some clay. I don't want to trim that much, so I want to push some clay down. And then I slow down. You'll have to trim all that. And again, now you only center in the very top. You need to remember to compress it. Again, you isolate in the bump. Opening it up a little bit. And then you just keep working on the shape that you want of the bell. Because on the outside it might look different, but you will repeat that shape when you trim. You will repeat the shape of the inside on the outside when you trim. Okay, well, that's the bell that you want.
How long did it take you to learn to throw?
You know, sometimes it's kind of stuck, but I can pick it with you see how the inside shape? And all this you'll trim.
Right.
Yeah. But you just put the board, you know, somewhere here, and a towel so you can pick it up. So I'll throw another one. The important thing is to compress all the very top, you know, before you isolate the bump. That's how they throw tea, like a tea bowls, a bunch of them. So I'll make a larger one. When you flare it out, slow down because it may just fall off. Compress. And then trim. Richard, enclosed space is next.
Which could also apply to me, right?
I don't know.
I think that's what you said.
Okay, this will harden out, and I'll show you how to trim.